Hi, we're Mel and Missy, respectfully a clinical mental health therapist and fear fighter life coach. But it goes beyond that. We are representatives of you.
Trashed It is a brand that helps women focus on their next level of freedom by getting rid of the emotional garbage in their lives, whether it's toxic relationships, thought patterns, stigmas, etc.
We represent mothers and single mothers, daughters, wives, and divorcees, business professionals, entrepreneurs, and even Christians and ministers of the gospel.
We're trashing it all.
Hey guys, and welcome back to a new episode of Trashed It. I'm your girl Mel.
And I am Missy.
Yay. And y'all look, we are talking about all things insecurities. That's what we're trashing for the month.
Yes.
I got my claps going on over here.
And I've got my dance.
Look. I wish everyone could see you. Like if you listen to us on audio only, I really need you to go to YouTube so you can see the stuff that Missy does when we're recording, because it is hilarious. Hilarious.
But that's also an insecurity of mine, is being lied.
Really?
Oh gosh. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
But
who knew? Look, who knew Miss Radio personality?
I'm good. Like without anybody seeing, right? Girl, I'm like, oh God, it's horrible. Horrible. Yeah.
Who knew? So how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. You know what? I'm so glad these children are back in school. I was so disappointed when I remembered that, back in the day, we went back to school like immediately after Labor Day. So,
yes.
What is it? New Year.
Or immediately after any holiday.
So,
that Monday.
Yeah, you were back at school that Monday. Oh my gosh, it hurt my heart when I realized they weren't going back to school until Thursday. Like, I've got to keep feeding you 3 meals and 2 snacks. Oh my gosh, this is torture.
Oh goodness. I understand. I do. My grandbaby's here for the holidays and they had a long break. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, wow. What do we do next? Well, what are we doing today?
Yes, I'm bored. Are we going to do something today? Are you just going to work? Mommy. It's like,
do you want to eat?
Right. Or I'm hungry. Can we go to Starbucks? Oh, I don't want that. Can we go through a drive-through?
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. Oh, I love it. I love it though. But you know what? Wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, but you know what? Hey, you're in a different season. I'm not quite there yet.
I am.
All of my kids are out of my house, and now I just have the grandbaby when I choose to. Like, that's your season. That's not really my testimony at the moment. Yeah.
Oh,
I was glad when they said unto me, let us ring. Right. Let us reconvene at school. Anyway.
What was that old song? Ring-a-ring-a-ling. School bell ring.
Ding ding dong. Ring a ding 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 dong.
Girl, if you can't laugh at yourself.
I know.
You can't laugh at nothing.
I'm learning to do it more often now.
I am too. Thank the Lord for masks. Girl, I talk to myself so much in these masks.
Girl, me. I get so tickled because I'll smile at someone and have the nerve to have attitude when they don't smile back, and then I have to laugh because I'm thinking, they don't even know. They didn't even know you smiled because you have on a mask.
I don't really have an opinion, but I'm just saying.
Do you have anything today?
You know what?
I always have something. I always got a problem.
Think of it. I don't. I really don't. I do not have an I don't have an opinion. So I'm just saying.
I guess it's always me. But you know what? Today.
What is your today?
I'm sick of taxes.
Well, I can definitely say yes.
I am.
Jeez Louise.
I'm sick
of taxes.
And I am sick of the changes that keep happening and how changes are affecting small businesses and self-employed people.
Yeah.
We can't win. We just cannot win. So that is my gripe for today.
Understand.
However, I'm not going to get into it a lot because I'm one of those people, because we watch a lot of shows like Blacklist or whatever. I always think the government is listening. So,
sir, ma'am, hello.
Sir, ma'am, I don't have an opinion. I'm just saying, I don't like what y'all are doing with these taxes. However, we good over here.
Yeah.
Don't come over here.
We don't cross this line.
Like we don't want this smoke. So just know it's all jokes. It's all in fun. So, what are we trashing today? Anyway.
What are we trashing today? Because I am so excited. And see, I was getting ready to sound churchy and say, we are in a series this month. Hey, it's in us. So you know what? This is our series.
Yeah.
Insecure. It all stemmed from a conversation about the season finale of Insecure. And so that is what we are trashing for the month of January, are insecurities. And there are so many that fall under that umbrella. So Mel, what are we trashing today?
Today we are trashing a topic along the lines of insecurities that is very near and dear to my little old personal heart. And it is the concept that women cannot co-parent. That we can't work together for the relationship and for the well-being of children, even
absolutely
maybe we're not with the father, right? So I know, most people know that, and maybe they don't, I don't know, because I'm just speaking this into the atmosphere that, maybe there are people who are listening over in Africa or Australia,
London,
or Spain,
Greece.
or Greece, Athens. I don't know where you're listening. So you may not know me at this moment. However, my oldest is not my husband's biological child. Most people think I'm the step parent. They think he is the biological parent. However, it's definitely a topic that's near and dear. And so, even with my husband and I, as we were watching the show and watching Issa, Condola, and Lawrence go through this entire scenario, there were so many similarities of things that were happening, right? And so I think a lot of times there is this thought that the baby mamas, or the new chick in the life of the guy, or just whatever, that we can't get along.
Exactly.
And so yes, that is what we are trashing today. That's what we're trashing.
And you talk about that. So let me ask you this, of course. So since we are talking about the show Insecure, we started off our first episode with the question about it. So what particular scene for you did it resonate with you in seeing the co-parenting, now that Lawrence is a father, Condola's the mom? Was it when she was with child? Well, no, actually when she gave birth. Or as the child.
It was all of those things. And again, like we said in the last episode, I saw so much of me in her. I saw so much of me in Condola. And then honestly, I think I may have seen some of my husband in Issa.
Really?
So. Yeah, because here's the thing, I think there are, and let me back up a little, because I think there are a multitude of reasons we are insecure when it comes to co-parenting as two women, right? Yeah. There's the woman that had the kid who's no longer with the guy. And then there's the woman who moves in or, enters into a relationship with said guy that we are no longer.
Exactly.
Right. And so I know going back to, I think it was episode 3 of this last season, Condola gives birth, and we see her mom and her sister sitting there running that mouth, right? Especially now their sister. The sister was absolutely running that mouth. But I think a lot of times our insecurities when it comes to co-parenting stems from our families.
Oh, yes.
Because you're either going to have as was Condola's mom, he's here, it's happened, let's make it work.
Yes, and move forward.
Let's be mature about this. Then you got that old raggedy sister who had nothing but jokes and nothing but the girl, he ain't this, and girl, I wouldn't. But I think those are the things we deal with when it comes to the potential of co-parenting.
Absolutely.
And sometimes why we're insecure in those areas. And then I think even if we take it back to Condola finding out she was pregnant. Condola was a boss.
Yeah.
She's this boss who knows better. Yeah. She knew better. She still ends up pregnant. And she is what I would consider to be pinnacle of her career. She has her stuff together. And she had an ex-husband, right?
She had an ex-husband.
So she already knew disappointment.
Oh, yes.
She already knew disappointment. And I think a huge part of her with the insecurity in co-parenting was based on, I've kind of already been here, done this, not necessarily with the child, but I have been here for the disappointment before.
And I'm not here for it anymore.
Yeah. So like, let me not even put myself in that predicament. But I think sometimes we are, even before the kid gets here, we're embarrassed.
Oh, absolutely.
I was embarrassed.
Absolutely.
I was absolutely insecure based on the fact that I kept thinking, how did I let this happen? I knew better. I absolutely was smart enough. And I think we have this thought of, oh, that would never happen to me.
Girl, I have the t-shirt on the website, have the stock in it. Yes.
Yeah. So I think those are things that lead to us being insecure, even before co-parenting becomes a real thing.
Exactly.
We're already there.
Do you think, even so, now switching from the fictitious characters, right? Lawrence and Condola, and then eventually Issa. Do you think that when we see women that act that way, and even men per se, that it's because that it has more to do with what didn't happen with the adult as opposed to the child?
As
far as co-parenting is concerned, whether it is trying to make co-parenting work or finding out what fits in your co-parenting? Like, because there's no manual for it, right?
So you're right. I think again, again, going back to personal experience, and having friends and just people I know who have gone through kind of the same thing. I think sometimes there is this thought of the emotional baggage has not been closed.
Yeah.
Right. I remember there was once upon a time that my oldest, her father could not pick her up without his girlfriend being present. She wouldn't speak to me. There was absolutely no relationship, but her insecurity with me was because we had a child together, we were forever connected, which meant there was always going to be this emotional connection, or there was always going to be this thing or this sexual attraction, right? So I know in the very beginning, there was he couldn't meet me anywhere without her being present. Which then in turn made me insecure towards her because I'm defensive.
And the first thing we do is have an attitude. What's she doing here? Why she always got to be with you every time you come get your child? Every time
she got to babysit you.
Yeah.
And I used to say things like that, like, "Oh, you got your babysitter, huh?" You know. So that didn't make it any better. But I think those are absolutely the things that go into why the women who are in the picture, I think there's this thought of being threatened.
Oh yes.
You know, and do I trust him?
Exactly.
Do I trust him to go? Do I trust him to go pick up this kid and not try to sleep with her? Do I trust her to not make a move on him? Do I trust them to just have this platonic relationship? Because I think at the end of the day, we know women, and we know that when we are intimate with someone, there is that emotional connection.
That connection is always going to that soul tie.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an absolute soul tie.
It's a soul tie.
So I think without even saying anything, we present with our insecurities.
Yeah.
Even if we haven't said it out loud. I think, so
wow.
Yeah. But then I think the one thing I did appreciate was, because like I said, sometimes the insecurities come from our family or whatever. I appreciated the fact that the friends, the friend group, never chose a side.
Exactly. And you know what? And even the crazy thing, when there were things going on, all parties were involved. All parties were invited. And I'm just going to go a step further and piggyback off of what you truly appreciated just in that episode, or the episodes that feature the co-parenting, that, you know what, Lawrence was like, hey, I'm right here, right? Like, you don't have to do everything by yourself. But I also appreciated that he stepped back, like, hey, if you want to, that's cool.
My husband and I completely got into it about that
really
scene. Yes. Because I felt some type of way when I saw Lawrence initially trying to be this parent that had all these rights and had all the things to say. But mom, Condola, was the one that was over there, like really, really, duking it out. She was the one that was up at night. He's out in wherever he was in California, living his best life, and screwing whomever he wants to screw. And she, Condola, isn't sleeping, is up with this baby, is also trying to, still have a career.
And so still have her life.
Yeah. And so I did think it was slightly unfair for Lawrence to just kind of come in on a horse, on a whim.
Really?
Decisions. Yeah, I did. I absolutely did.
Really? Okay.
I did not think it was okay because I don't think he really had an appreciation for the difference in responsibilities. Because at the end of the day, he made a choice. She didn't make a choice. She stayed. She had the baby. She kept it. She didn't give it up for adoption, which meant if the baby wasn't sleeping, she couldn't go to sleep. Lawrence still had options. So the person that still had options, in my opinion, could not just come in and have all of this say so. He introduced, they were at the birthday party, remember? Yeah, I think that was that on the same episode, maybe? I think it was. Maybe it was episode 3. Maybe towards the end, or episode 4, when they were at the birthday party for what's Kelly?
I can't remember. I cannot remember her name.
I just know her real name is Amanda.
Yeah.
Right. So her character, they had just had a baby, and Kelly, of course, is the godmom. So they were there, and I think Lawrence introduces the baby to, I don't think it was necessarily a solid food, but it wasn't
like cupcake frosting or something.
Yeah. And as a mom, I'm thinking to myself how detrimental that can be, because he hadn't been around enough to know if the baby had any allergies, if the baby's stomach could tolerate that. Whereas Condola, she's been here. He's been doing this, and then he shows up like knight in shining armor, trying to just like, well, this is my kid too. Well, yeah, it is your kid too, but you don't live with this kid. So my personal opinion was, I thought there should have been a little more respect for the difference in dynamics, right? Not that he didn't have any rights, but to really think he had absolute equal rights to a kid that he only saw when he saw it in the beginning. And then you could change, you're too tired. You're too tired to get on your flight.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think that was fair. And I think those are also the things that bleed over into the insecurities we have, even with the next woman.
Absolutely.
Because I think what we see is the next woman, per se, hypothetically, gets the guy, and sometimes I guess potentially the happy ending. Right. And I guess it depends on how the relationship ends. Sometimes it's the relationship ends and it's platonic and everyone is okay and friends, or at least respectful.
Exactly.
Or sometimes, it was a smash and go. So, it all depends on
how it ended.
Right? Because maybe when he was with you, he was sleeping with you and Keisha and Tasha and Becky. You end up pregnant, but then he gets with Kelly over there, and he's a changed man.
Yeah. So and that's how it happens sometimes too.
But I think those are the things that also bring about those insecurities, because there's a part of us sometimes that hasn't reconciled the fact that, number one, it didn't work. Number two, people can grow. Number three, we can forgive them.
Exactly.
We can forgive them. And often we're not even thinking about what's best for the kid.
No, it's you know what? I mean, unfortunately, my kid's father is no longer here. So I went through a little bit of that, but I'm glad that as they grew, I didn't have to go through that. And I know that sounds selfish. I know it sounds selfish, but it's all about, I think majority of the time, Mel, it's about the actual adult, not the child. Like you trying to get back, or you just trying to get over on whatever but it has to deal with the parent as opposed to the child or the children.
Right. I agree. I know it took quite a while for myself and my oldest daughter's stepmom or her bonus mom, or to actually get on a respectful page. And I'm not gonna lie and say we are all the way together and that we are just this happily blended family at all times, because that's not the case. But I think what has happened over the years is we have learned to respect each other, so that for the good of the kid who's now a young adult, but for the good of being able to communicate about her, we were able to put whatever issues we had aside.
Exactly.
And to be honest, at one point, I think I talked more to her than I did her actual dad.
And probably because she was, and no disrespect, I have no clue who this young man is, but I think a lot of times when we can find that friend in them, and of course, them being the stepmother or the bonus mom, or that one that, you know what, she might have a little bit more sense than him. So I tell you what, hey, how you doing, girl? Hey, do me a favor. Can you remind him ...
Yes.
Oh, girl, yeah, sure, not a problem. How's things going? So again, and I think a lot of times we make this journey in life, especially with kids and co-parenting, harder than what it is. There is a happy medium. We just have to find that happy medium.
Right. So, and I think going back to that last episode with Issa, Lawrence, and the little boy, seeing that and seeing how Issa was able to work through her insecurities. And I think sometimes the insecurities are just simply bred in fear. We're afraid. We're afraid that we're going to lose, or we weren't the first. Right. Like the experience we wanted with the person, we will never have.
And you know what, Mel, if I can piggyback off you, so it goes back to the example that you gave. Before he was with you per se, he was with Tasha, with Keisha, Karen, and then Becky, and now he gets with such and such, and he's a whole changed man. And you're like, I waited 5 years of our relationship for you to be this person now, but I was dumped on during this whole time. And I get it. And I think even if you don't have a child with that person, you feel some kind of way, you're salty, like glad that they turned over a new leaf, but like, yo, dude, I invested how much time?
Yeah.
And you know what? So yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So that was honestly, it was slightly difficult for me to watch.
Was it?
It was, because again, Issa Rae and whomever the other writers and producers of the show are brought to life an experience that is very real. From the how dare you have a say in what this kid is doing.
Exactly.
Right? And I know that I am not the only woman who was watching that episode and side-eyeing him like, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
You did
understand.
We got this scene over here where you're out here screwing somebody, and old girl that had the baby, Condola, she is she is delirious from lack of sleep. And then you roll into town like, hey, I'm here. And everything is just supposed to be great. So,
or maybe not lack of sleep. And to correct you on that, and I could be wrong, I think Issa even touched on the fact of postpartum.
Yes, she did.
And so I think it will be a postpartum, because, you know, dad's in San Fran. He's in San Francisco. She was in LA. So again, the distance is quicker to get there via airplane than it is to drive. But still, at the end of the day, dad's not there.
Right. He's not there. And she only had so many people in her community, in her community that could watch the baby.
Exactly.
Trusted. So that
she wasn't one of those moms, Mel, that just let any and everybody watch the baby because she needed rest or needed to go to the store or needed to do this or needed to do that.
Yep. I think a lot of that did have to do with the situation in general. And she was this career woman who was used to handling everything on her own.
Yes. Oh,
so
that's a good one.
To just even say she needed help
was hard.
Was very hard.
Very hard.
Was very hard. So, but I do think that co-parenting can exist between women. They can get along. They don't have to fight. They don't have to agree on everything. But they can get along. They can be respectful for the sake and well-being of the kid. You know, and I think even as we wrap up, that's a reality. Unfortunately, we don't always end up in great relationships. When we have a kid with someone. But it absolutely doesn't mean that co-parenting between the mom and dad and whoever the new boo is can't work.
Exactly.
And it doesn't mean that the mom and dad have to continue a relationship that's unhealthy or where they are emotionally tied or still sleeping together or whatever. That it can work, but it takes work.
It takes work and it takes time.
Yes. So I think that is it.
That's it
on the co-parenting and trashing that stigma that we can't co-parent, because we can.
We can.
So ladies, and even gentlemen, we have men that are watching. Just know that it's okay to not agree on everything with the mother or father of your kid, and you don't even have to like their new boo or the new wife or whatever. You don't have to like them.
Yep, that's true.
But can we at least respect each other enough?
Be cordial. That's it.
Enough for the wellness of the kid.
That's it.
Because at the end of the day, the kid has absolutely nothing to do with whatever shenanigans we got into.
That's it.
Are you interested in becoming a sponsor of the show, or have topic suggestions you'd like for us to trash? If so, email at wetrashedit@gmail.com.